Hello everyone, this is Devlagerio. Welcome to episode number 12 of how to make an IO game. In this video, I'm going to teach you how players can interact with each other using the mouse, just like pure space game. We're gonna send the position and location of the mouse from players to the players so everybody can see the other people and where they're moving. Let's go. Alright, I'm gonna start from our last episode, which is the episode number 11, and I'm gonna call it episode number 12, just like that. Alright, EP number 12. I'm gonna open it up with Visual Studio Code. Let's go to the client first. I go to my sketch.js, which is a P5js library, you already know that. I highly recommend to watch the last episode if you don't know anything about these things. Otherwise, this might help you do a lot of things. In here, I'm gonna do something so much important. We no longer have add force, add acceleration. We no longer have add force, add acceleration, accelerate. I mean, speed up and move. Zero out acceleration. We no longer have them on the client side. We don't need them actually. We don't even need the update. We only need the draw method of our player, and a bunch of properties are gonna go away, like force, goodbye, acceleration, goodbye, speed, goodbye, mouse max force, goodbye, max acceleration. We don't need that. We don't need the max speed, and we don't need the math. Basically, we have nothing. We have nothing. What do I want to have is the angle. Yes, the angle. We are right now. We are calculating the angle every second, but this should happen on the server side. So I'm basically gonna give it a this.angle property attribute, and it's gonna be 0 by default. That's it. What do I want now is to, instead of this get mouse force here, okay, I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna use the P5js pre-made functions. How? Let's go into the draw method. In the draw function, I'm gonna, under the background, I'm gonna paste that here. Yeah, I'm gonna paste the get mouse force here. Maybe even maybe I can create its own function. Okay, let's take it out. Let's create a new function. I'm gonna create a new function called get mouse location. Get mouse location, or maybe send mouse location. Okay, of course we're not using WSAD, but we're using mouse. For now, in future we will add a bunch of keyboard keys as well. Let's do it. Send mouse location, and this is gonna be a function. What does it do? It basically get the mouse force. And now what I'm going to do is to delete these. We only need the content of it. Alright. We don't need these three. The only thing we have to do is to I'm gonna comment these out. I'm gonna keep them here because we're going to use them in a moment. What I'm planning to do is to say socket.emit. We're gonna send something to the server side, and I'm gonna say mouse move. And what I'm gonna send here is a mouse x, which is the mouse x, and a mouse y, which is a mouse y. And this is a good place to tell you about this. Whenever you're creating an object, and in that object you have an attribute, you have an attribute the name of attribute is the same as the name of a variable you're gonna assign it to. If that's happening, just like that, I have a mouse x attribute which has the value of P5js mouse x, which will automatically, which is always the x position of the mouse. So basically, I can say this mouse x. Same thing happens for the mouse y. It's the mouse y is equal to mouse y, so why not say just mouse y? Okay, simple as that. I'm gonna send this to the server side. Okay, now let's go to the server side. I'm gonna open the server.js, double click it, and bring it up here. Now, underneath the connection between the after I'm ready, okay, this is the ready player. Okay, we don't have to do anything to do with that anymore. I am just going to create another socket.on because we are going to we created an emit. We are emitting something through the mouse move line. Now on the server side, we should listen to that line. We should say socket.on again mouse move, and I'm going to create a function here. I already told you this is as same as writing a function, curly brackets, open curly brackets, close curly brackets. They are both the same thing. And we get the data. What we're gonna do here is I'm gonna say player dot it is better to do this. We're gonna optimize it later on, but for now I'm gonna say for var I in players, if players I.id is equal to the socket ID, or maybe player.id, no difference. We're gonna say, we're not going to splice it, of course. We're gonna say players I dot mouse x is equal to data dot mouse x. Same thing happened for the y. I'm gonna copy this, paste it here. I'm gonna call it y is equal to data dot mouse y, and then what I'm gonna do is to break. We're no longer once we find the player, we're not gonna loop anymore. Okay. Same thing can happen for the splice as well. Alright. We break out of the loop because we found the player with this ID, and we no longer need to check the other players. Only one ID matches our socket ID, of course, because ID is always unique, one for every player. Let me adjust the camera a little bit better, because I guess this part doesn't look good enough. Alright. Why the camera? Okay. I guess it's good. Ooh, maybe I can. Yeah, I am center now. Alright. Let's continue. Now we are all set. We are checking this. We are receiving the location of the mouse on the server side. We can check that. We can basically say console.log data.mousex and data.mousey. We check the mouse location. Okay, whenever you are console logging something, if you say if you have two variables and you write them with a comma in between, it is same as doing this. Okay, you're basically saying this, just like that. So you add a space between those two. Instead of this space, you can simply say a comma. Simply write a comma. That's it. Let's comment this section for a second and just check if the mouse X and Y is working. So yeah, I'm gonna open the Google Chrome, go to localhost 2000. We have error maybe, but yeah, we have error. We have error in line 67. It said players I.update is not a function on 67. Let's go to the 67. sketch. I know what the problem is, I know. Because yeah, we are now updating the player on the client side, but as you already know, we deleted the function update, so we no longer need to update the players. Yeah, this should go away. Oh, sorry. This should go away. I'm gonna stop and start the server again. Maybe refresh and check that out. Oh yeah, it's not sending the information. Why? Because this send mouse location should be called somewhere. Where do we call it on the draw function? On the draw method. Yeah, the draw method is a good place for it for now. Optimizing is maybe. Oh yeah, we will optimize it soon. I will tell you when. All right, send mouse location. Let's refresh. There is an error. There is errors. Mouse X is not defined on line 117. Of course it's not, because it's mouse E. Yeah, I have to delete that. Oh no, that is right. It had double S. Sorry. Yeah. So I need to stop and start again. Refresh. Yeah. As you can see, I have the position of I have the location of the mouse on the server side. You can see this is the 00. Oh, my mouse is so accurately on the 00 pixel of the screen. Oh my god, that's nothing you can do easily. All right. As you can see, it's happening on the server side. I'm gonna stop it now because we have it. Now we're gonna add it with this line we commented, with these lines of code we commented. We basically set the player mouse X and player mouse Y location on the server side. So we no longer need to console log it. We just need to do this, and the players should have this as well. So 1 and 2, one is mouse X and the other is mouse Y, which is gonna be 00 by default. And of course, whenever we get the first mouse move, it's gonna be changed as soon as we do that. We want another thing called angle, which is 0 by default. Alright, and now I'm gonna add a method here, this dot get angle. Alright, let me think. Let me think and tell you. Yeah, we're gonna get the angle on the server side, because if we do that, we can get the angle on the client side. We can do this on the client side, for example. Okay, I'm sorry, not this. We can calculate this line on the client side and send it to the server, or we cannot. Let's see what we can do. Alright, I'm gonna calculate it on the client side and send it as well. So let's get rid on the server side. Let's get rid of this new method we were going to create. And on the client side, in the draw function, I'm gonna take this line out, and I'm gonna go down. Whenever we're sending the mouse location, this time I'm gonna call it the send mouse data, and this is going to be a mouse data, which is going to be a better name for it. And on the server side, I'm gonna change the line to the mouse data as well. Now I calculate the angle, mouse X minus window width, window height divided by 2, and mouse X minus window width divided by 2. Yeah, mouse Y first, mouse X second, because it's gonna be the angle, and we will send that angle to the server as well. So it's better now. Now on the server side, I'm gonna set the angle too. I'm gonna say, okay, angle is equal to the data dot angle. Yes. Now what we have to do now is going to create another method, this dot add force from mouse, which we had before. maybe add mouse force, or better said, maybe add force toward mouse location. Something that we can read always. When we read it, we can know that it's gonna be equal to a function, yeah, just like that. And what we do here, I go to the client side and I take this code out that we have on the sent mouse, we commented before, and I'm gonna paste it here. Don't forget to save the sketch.js. I'm gonna save. So I hit the Control S and I go back to the server side. I uncomment this. What we're doing here, we create a force variable. We have done it before. This is the same as what we had before. We just changed the name of the function. We add a force using the mouse X. It's not the mouse X anymore. It's this.mouseX. I'm gonna copy this dot, and it's gonna be this.mouse Y. What we don't have here is the window width and window height. We're gonna send that as well. So send mouse data. So send input data is gonna be a better name for it. And send input data. This is going to be input data. This is the third time we are changing the name of the socket line, but anyway, it's just getting better and better. So I changed the line mouse data to input data because I am going to send the window width and window height as well, because server should know about the size of the screen that the guy has, that the player has. I'm gonna do this. On the server side, we're gonna set them as well. Window width, window height, data.window width, data.window height. Alright. Same thing is gonna be happen for here. Window width, window height. And it's going to be this dot. We are basically creating a force from the mouse location to the width and height divided by 2. From the middle of the screen to the mouse location, we are creating a force toward that line, and we are limiting this force. Remember that that this limit should change now. We no longer have a limit function. We created a function for that, which was the limit vector. We no longer have this. So force is equal to limit vector. We give it the vector, which is the force, and we give it the max force, just like what we have done for acceleration. This happened in the last episode. If you double click it, you can go down, and this is a function that we have created together in the last episode. So limit vector is what we have made. Refactoring.js, our library, doesn't have a proper limit method that we need in our own game, so we created our own. Alright, this was the limit vector, and I divide the force. We don't have the div on the server side because we are using Refactoring. We have the divide. Yeah, so we have to say, okay, yeah, force is equal to force.divide this, and we return that. Let's check this out. Let's check this out. Let's check this out. This out. Everything seems okay. This is unnecessary. Yeah, force.divide this.mass. And also, I am saying that here we have it. Okay, seems fair enough. Seems fair enough. What I'm seeing here is we don't have to divide it by mass here. Yeah, I actually want to delete this line of code, because whenever we are adding force, first of all we divide it by the mass, then we add it as a force, then we set the this dot force. So we no longer need to divide the mouse force. Okay, that's what's happening here, which is very good. What we are missing here is the update method. We must have this dot update, which is going to be equal to a function, and this is responsible for updating. What we were going to do, I'm gonna open my old code, maybe episode number 10. I'm gonna go to client side, and I'm gonna go to JS, bring it to the Visual Studio Code just to check how was our update method. Just like that. I'm gonna copy that and bring it to our new update function. So first of all, we do this dot add force, and we get the this dot get mouse force. No longer that's no longer happening here. This dot add force toward mouse location. This is not add force. This is get force. Yeah, I'm gonna change the name to the get force. Better naming. Okay. First of all, we add force. Using that, we accelerate, we speed up, we move. Where is the movement? Okay. And then we zero out the acceleration. Fair enough. I go down. Okay. Final thing we need. We need to get the update pack as well here. So init pack, as the name says, whenever a new player connects, we're gonna get an init pack, an initialization pack, and we send it to everybody, including himself, and tell them, okay, a new guy with this information is connected. And it's gonna eventually be a lot longer than this, but we also need a this.get update pack as well, and this get update pack is gonna get the current location and angle and send it to the client side. Let's do that. Let me go to client side and check. Yes, we are calculating the angle before sending it. By doing this on the client side, we're just making the server lighter, so the server is not responsible for calculating it. It's just get faster. And yeah, on the server side, we have a get update pack. We no longer, in the get update pack, we don't care about the name. We don't care about that really, but we do care about angle. This dot angle is equal to this dot angle. What else do we have? What else? Nothing. So ID, X and Y, and the angle, and this is called get update pack. What are we going to do with this get update pack? I will tell you in a moment. I'm gonna create a new function. This function is gonna be a specific function that is going to be a loop. Actually, we're gonna call it game main loop, and that is responsible for our server side frame rate. How many times per second do we send the data, the information about all the players to everybody else? Introducing a new function. This is a JavaScript pre-made function as well, and it's an interval. It is called interval. We create, instead of saying, okay, I'm creating a function, we're gonna say we have, okay, set interval, and we give it a function as the first parameter, which is, as it said, it's a callback. It gets a callback. Alright, I'm gonna give it the callback. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the callback. And after that, we have to specify how many times per second. I'm gonna say, okay, it's using milliseconds, so we have to say, okay, I'm gonna say 25 times per second. 20. I have found this smooth, and it doesn't add so many force on the server, so it's gonna be it's on your hand. You can do it on 60 frames per second, but your server might get slower. You need a better server if you want better FPS. I'm gonna stick with 25 now. You can test different things. We will test it together maybe. And this set interval is going to happen 25 times per second. And 25 times per second, what we are going to do, we are going to say, okay, loop through all the players for var I in players. What we're gonna do, we're gonna say players I dot update, and after we call the update function that we created here, we're gonna call it every 25 times per second, and after that I'm gonna say I'm gonna create a package here, var update pack, which is an empty array, and every frame I'm gonna say update pack dot push the player number I dot get update pack, which is here. So this array is gonna be populated by the update pack, and after that, after this is done, I'm gonna send it to the client side. I'm gonna say io.emit, so everybody will know that. Update pack, and we are going to send the update pack. Just like I was, I'm gonna make it an object. Update, yeah, just like that. I already teach you. An object including the package. Now I go to the client side. In the setup function, after init pack, I'm gonna copy I'm gonna copy the init pack, paste it underneath it. It's gonna be update pack, because we are listening to this line. Yeah, these two should have the same name, and we get the data. We loop through the data.update pack. Let's check that out. Update pack. Yeah, we'll loop through the data.update pack. We don't do this. I'm gonna delete this. What do we do here? I'm gonna say for var j, I'm sorry, because we're gonna have two loops inside each other, two loops nested. For var j in players, if players j dot id is equal to data.update pack I dot id, what we're gonna do is say, okay, players j, I'm gonna say var player is equal to the player j. Do I do that? No, we don't need to do that. I'm gonna say player j dot, let's see what we're updating. Yes, x and y and angle. I'm gonna say player j dot location dot x is equal to data dot update pack I dot x. Yeah, same things happen for the y, and same thing happens for the angle, and there is how we update it. Now on the draw function of the player object, let me go to the draw function. Here, whenever we translate, we also rotate not to the angle but to the this dot angle, just like that. Whew. We have code a lot, but we haven't tested because we couldn't. But now we can. Let's hope there is no bug, but of course there should be some. If there is no bug, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna jump off. Alright. There is a problem. Okay, on line 112 on the server side. Let's go ahead and check that out. 112 on the server side. This dot speed dot add this dot acceleration. Let's. Oh yeah, I found the problem. The problem is that our limit vector function should be a little bit different. So I basically added. You should say vec.x. Oh, I'm sorry. Vec.x is equal to. I'm gonna say okay. Var vec is equal to new vector 0 and 0. Okay, and then I'm going to say vec.x is equal to the v.x, and this is gonna be v.x and v.y. I'm sorry, v.y. Yeah, and then we return this. Let's stop and start the server and check that again. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, nothing happened for now, but I'm guessing we have errors on the client side as well. Let's check that out. Somehow, yes. Send mouse location is not defined on line 65. Line 65. Send. Of course it's not. Of course it's not. I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna say, okay, if the player is our own player, translate to the player location, then send the mouse location. Send the player's eye dot. Or no. No. Yeah, we changed, but let's bring it back to where it was. Yes, send mouse location. Of course it doesn't exist anymore. We have to say send input data. We changed the name of the function. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna refresh. Okay, we have another problem, which is the translate problem has an argument left. Alright, let's see what we can do about that. I go to our sketch where we translate. Let me check. Oh yeah, here we are facing some problem here. Translate to the bits divided by 2 and the player's I location X, player I location Y. There is a problem with the location. I'm gonna say console.log players I dot location just to see what happens. And I am going to go back here. I'm gonna test it out. Oh yeah, it is. The number is too big or too small, maybe. Too big or too small. That is not right. I'm gonna copy this. Go to the server side. What if I don't send anything to the server? Okay, let's not send the location of the mouse to the server. I'm gonna refresh. I'm gonna refresh again. Yeah. So it's okay. Translate doesn't have to do anything with that. At least one argument. Yeah. I'm gonna bring it back. That wasn't a problem with this line. It was a problem with this line. Either one of these has a bit of problem. Maybe on the server side, whenever we are updating, limiting the vector, no. We're updating get update pack x is equal to location. This location dot x, this location dot y. Works fine. We're having a problem here. I'm gonna go here and console log the location of the player here as well, just to see what happens. Yeah, there is a problem. There is a problem. So we have to trace it. I go. Okay, one of these functions are making a giving us a huge problem. I wanna check one by one. I'm gonna first of all console log the force. I'm gonna see if that works. Gonna refresh. Refresh. Yeah, because we're not sending mouse location. Let's send the mouse location. We are. So console log force. Get force toward location. Alright. Get it, we add it to the force. Let's see. If we are updating the player. We're updating the player, yes. And we are calling this function, yes, but we let's check again. Let's check that again. Nothing is happening. This update method is not being called. Alright, I'm gonna check it out. I found the problem. We basically have two update functions on the server side. So I go a little bit down. We're going to delete the second one. We don't need that. I actually forgot it. Forgot to remove it. And this is the new one we have. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna stop and start server. Refresh. Yeah, it worked. But we have another error. Let's move on and fix that. We no longer need to console log it. It's gonna say, okay, var force is equal to create vector. Yeah, of course, is equal to new vector. Yeah, we limit it. Let's run the server again. Refresh. Another error on the line 103, which is the force divided by mass. Yeah, it should be this dot mass and this dot mass. Stop and start again. Refresh. Oh yeah, we are moving, but we are only moving to the right and left. Look at that. I'm gonna refresh. Look at that. Oh no, this is working absolutely fine. Yeah. So the player is now moving, but the only thing doesn't work is the angle. Let's work on the angle as well. And by the way, it's not smooth. It's not smooth. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that too. Let's see what we can do about it. Force divided by the mass, and we add the force to the acceleration. We limit it. We add the acceleration to the speed, and we limit it. And then we add the speed to the location. Alright, we zero out acceleration in the end. What do I have to do now is what? The angle. The angle. Okay. On the client side, we calculate the angle. We send it to the server side. Maybe the problem is here, where we are translating. Where we are rotating, maybe. Rotate this dot angle. No, it's working. On the server side, I'm gonna go up and check this dot angle is equal to 0. I'm gonna check the update path. This angle is equal to this dot angle. That works well. I'm gonna go up. Whenever we receive the data, we say players are I dot angle is equal to data dot angle. Let's go ahead and check that out. Data dot angle. Yeah, that works. Okay, I'm gonna console log it. I'm gonna console log it. Console.log this dot angle. Let's check if that works. I'm also going to check up here. Oh yeah, I found the problem. We no longer need to console log it. On the Whenever we're setting this, this is not playersj.location.angle, but playersj.angle. I'm gonna stop and start server. Refresh the game. Yes, we are seeing it. And I'm gonna duplicate the game, and they are both seeing each other. This guy is gonna go down, and the other one is happening. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna refresh this game. I'm gonna bring this out. I'm gonna refresh this as well. And these two players can see each other. This one can go this way. This one can go that way. And if someone leave, the other one sees that happening. Okay, that's enough for this video. And thank you very much for watching. By the way, for the next episode, I am going to teach you how to make this smooth, because this is almost a problem. We are going to fix this game and make it move smoothly, just like before. It just loses its smoothness, and we fix that first. After that, we're gonna optimize the server side and the client side, both of them. We're gonna use another method of looping through players, so we no longer have this bunch of code for just finding a player with this ID. We're gonna do a lot of those, and yeah, the most important part was this part, and I have noticed a lot of little things as well that needs to be um, refined, or better said, refactored. Yeah. Okay, that's it for today guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing or hitting the notification button to wait for the next episode. Goodbye.